Another key area that we look at when assessing an app is, does it move our clients from passive consumers to knowledge producers? If it does not, then you might want to reconsider using it in therapy. Some key points to remember when moving clients from passive consumers to knowledge producers includes the following pillars that were developed by Hirsch and colleagues to look at the science of learning in coordination with app development and design. So to begin this, the first pillar is related to active learning. So to qualify as an active learning experience, children cannot simply tap or swipe, but must rather be minds on. And it's so easy for us to find apps where the child just has to tap it or swipe it, and we're like, oh, what a great app. But actually, that would be considered a minds off type of app. We want something where they are purposefully figuring out something and using active learning as their key ingredient for therapy. So, an example would be like they have to figure out where a puzzle piece goes, right? Or they have to create a storyboard. That would constitute a minds-on learning activity. So, learning is not simply a passive registration of information, nor is it simply a result of any type of physical activity. Learning that sticks requires active minds-on learning. So we need to be actively engaging our clients in this process. So it doesn't have to be an app that was created specifically for speech language therapy, but is it an app that you can actually use in speech? And that you can adapt to your clients. And so that's what the protocol is really focusing on. And so he has a grading system through that. And we're just kind of going through his actual criteria method and just showing you a little bit of what it looks like. And to access it, just type in the 5 criteria along with Sean Sweeney's name, and you'll be able to pull this information up as well and read through it, because he also gives you a lot of great resources for apps that he has graded and that he's used in therapy. So this is also a very great resource. So as SLPs, we want to be critical consumers of the technology that we choose to integrate into our practices. The research that we looked at indicated the need for SLPs to use more objective means besides star rating systems, user reviews, word of mouth, and the cost to determine whether or not an app is an appropriate tool for our clients. So we're going to take a look at 3 different criteria methods for scoring apps. And I'm just going to review them with you. There are 3 different ones that I selected, and they have a lot of similarities as well as some differences, but they will give you a general idea of what you need to be looking for in rating methods. We must keep in mind recommended practices on the use of technology with children. In 2016, the American Academy of Pediatrics released its guidelines for children's media use. They recommended that children who are 18 months and younger need to have their screen time limited to video chatting. So, for example, a lot of times, I'll see grandparents using FaceTime with their children or their grandchildren specifically. So that's what it needs to be limited to for children who are 18 months and younger. So they're actually engaging with someone. Otherwise, no screen time needs to be available to that age group. And what we mean by screen time is any screen that could be placed in front of a child, whether it's the television, whether it's the telephone, like your cell phone, or an iPad even. They do not need to have exposure to that at this age. Now, between the ages of 18 and 24 months, screen time needs to be limited to high quality programming that's viewed with the parents or their caregiver, okay? The parents actually need to be mediating the learning experience of their children. So whenever we talk about mediating, they need to be explaining the content that they're viewing together and actually relating it to the real world.
Okay, first up, we're going to look at Squiggle Fish. So I'm zooming in there so you can see what the app looks like. And I'm on an iPad. we have our iPad hooked up to our computer. Okay? So Squiggle Fish is really fun because you actually can create a virtual fish tank. And it also has activities off the screen as well that are involved. So it's not just on the screen. And the first component that you have to do is have the students create this drawing. And the most important part is that you use a dark outline. So this is on paper. You get out your paper, your colored pencils, some kind of a dark Sharpie or marker, and you can draw this outline for them, or they can draw it depending on how old they are. And they color it in, and it's most important that they stay within the black lines, because you're going to see in a moment that this program will take whatever's inside the black lines and it's going to put it inside your fish tank. So that's the first activity, and I have done that myself. And so then I hit that little green arrow there, and you can already see I have some fish swimming around, but I'm going to add some more fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and click on the little plus sign, and it's saying, okay, I am looking around. So look, you can see our messy desk here. This is what it takes to record. And here's my fish, and it got it. Okay? And so now it's going to put it in, and he's going to start swimming around. Okay? And see, you could make, I had that shark there. That was one that one of my sons made. You can make sharks, and we're going to add one more, because I think if you see it one more time, you'll maybe remember it a little better. So I'm going to hit this plus sign. I've got another fish here. Let me find him. Okay, there he is. You have to hold it really still, and it catches it. And it's really, if you make your line dark enough, then there won't be any jagged edge or anything. It'll just be really clean. And so, you know, when you're doing this, you can talk about the size of the fish, who's on top, who's on the bottom. What were some of the other things we had said, Nikosi?
Well, in some other areas, like goals that I've written, I've worked on colors as well, having the students give me simple sentence structures about what they're seeing in this fish tank, as well as descriptive statements. So, you know, I might have a fish that has stripes going across it or polka dots on it. So we can work on those adjectives as well as object identification. You know, we see seashells, as well as, you know, a treasure chest and all sorts of things. And then you can also work on sound production within this. So you could even do your fish in the shape of a letter.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Right. And work on that sound production as well within this specific app. It's a very dynamic app. And it's actually an example of augmented reality.
Yes.
As well. So this is an area that I really love, because it brings things that you're doing in real life to shape on the app.